Glad to have your attention. Toad has been around since the beginning of the Mario franchise and is a staple of the Mushroom Kingdom. Sometimes Toad is a single character, and other times there are plenty of them. From Toad to Toadsworth and Toadette, Peach sure has her hands full. Today we'll take a closer look at these odd creatures and learn some new and interesting facts. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and keep up with all of our videos. Without further ado, here are 5 weird facts you never knew about Toad. Presto Changeo. Bowser's scheme is pretty standard at this point. Get the princess, get the tar beaten out of you by Mario, rinse and repeat. However, according to the guide of the original Super Mario Bros., Bowser took his plans a step further. It says in the guide that in addition to kidnapping the princess, Bowser turned her toads into pipes, blocks, and bushes, never to return to normal. This horrifying transformation is made even more terrifying when you consider all the blocks you smash and the pipes you go through as Mario. The thought of murdering an innocent toad who was turned into a block makes this game infinitely darker. Never mind the fact that saving the princess doesn't undo the curse on the poor toads within the game, but let's think about this for just a moment. Sure, it's a video game and nothing really matters, but within the context of the game, you have innocent minions being turned into inanimate objects, most of which Mario has to destroy in order to get to the princess. This game was marketed to kids, mind you. Really, if you think about it, this was one of the games with an early form of permadeath. Might have to think a little hard about it though. The Toad Suit. Mario has a lot of different forms. With the release of Mario Odyssey, Mario's been everything from a T-Rex to a tree. In Mario 64, we saw a new slew of upgrades with a flying cap and metal cap. In the earlier titles, Mario was a bit more limited to mushrooms, fire flowers, and the occasional star. This all changed in Super Mario 3 when we were given new suits like the Frog suit and the Hammer Brothers suit. Apparently in the game's code, there was going to be a Toad suit. There's no description for it, but it was revealed to just be an error and a mismatched Hammer suit that you would find in World 7-8. Even if it's not an official suit, you have to admit it would be interesting to see what the Toad suit could have done. If you remember in Super Mario 2 when you could select Toad, he was the strongest character in the game for some reason. Perhaps the Toad suit allowed for Mario to lift blocks and throw them like he did in the previous game. Or maybe he got to run around crying out his own name in that horrible Toad voice. In any case, it's fun to imagine what could have been in this already amazing game. What's under the cap? There has been a strange debate regarding characters with famous headgear. We've rarely seen Link without his hat until Breath of the Wild came along, and we've never seen a Toad without its cap. Well, of course, one theory is that the red and white spotted caps are just their heads, and they're born as mushroom-headed freaks. It would make sense considering they get their name from the mushroom toadstool, which is an actual type of mushroom. However, there is one instance of a Toad without his cap, and it came in the short-lived Super Mario Bros. Super Show cartoon, and also in the Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3. There's a brief scene in one episode where Toad is seen without his cap on. In the scene, Toad is being carried away by a giant bird. He's dropped, and the only way to get down is to use his giant mushroom cap as a parachute. To everyone's shock, he's bald. Sorry guys, Toads do not have long flowing manes under their caps. At least, not this one. Coincidentally, Toad was voiced by Jonathan Stalker in both shows, who also voiced Link. Boy, the range on that man is impeccable. Of course, he did not provide the voice for the games, which leads us into our next topic. Hello! Similar to Link from The Legend of Zelda, Toad has a very unique voice, despite the fact that he says very little. The difference being that Toad actually says a few words, most of which are hello and hey and other one-sentence expletives. Hey, at least it's better than just shouting, yeah, and other random grunts, right? Although I would take that any day over, excuse me, princess. Well, someone obviously voices them, but who? For the most part, the job was Jen Taylor's for the early games. She voiced Toad for all the major games, from Mario Golf, Luigi's Mansion, and Super Mario Sunshine to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. From there onwards, Toad has been voiced by Samantha Kelly, which includes Mario and Rabbids and Mario Odyssey. Now, if those names sound familiar, then you either know your voice actresses or you've been watching a lot of our videos. Both of these actresses have voiced Princess Peach. Kelly takes it a step further and also voices Toadette in the recent titles. There have been a few times where Toad has not been voiced by either actress. In the games Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mario Kart 64, and the first 2 Mario parties, Toad is voiced by Tomoko Maruno. I'm the best! Toad has been featured in many games as a playable character. From Mario Kart to Mario Party, Toad has been a part of the action for a long time. But have we ever gotten a standalone game? We did recently with Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which was based off the minigames you could play in Super Mario 3D World, where you had to control said captain around a maze to get bonus stars. The game was released for the Wii U on November 13th, 2014 and received a fair amount of praise. Gamers were championing it as the first game to feature Toad as the main character. However, this was not the first time Toad has been the main character of a game. Oh, got your attention now, don't I? Way back on the NES, Wario's Woods had you playing as the Toadstool Tyke in a Tetris-esque game. While the name sported the Wario name, you controlled a small toad instead. Oddly enough, this was also the first game to feature Wario as a titular character. It's a game of firsts if we ever saw one. So while Captain Toad is the first game to have Toad in the title and as the main character, Wario's Woods is technically the first game where you control a toad as the main character. And those were 5 weird facts about Toad. Who is your favorite Toad in the Mario franchise? Do you have an interesting fact about Toad? If so, we'd love to hear it in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all of our videos here on The Gamer. Thanks for watching.